On Sports Today, the coaches back-to-back for Parkland Mazda, the number one team at Parkland Mazda Cannington.
On 882 6PR.
Yeah, with Brad and Cal. G'day, Ross Lyon.
Good on, Brad. Carl.
Hi, mate.
You're sounding better than you looked yesterday morning on the TV. Did you have a sleepless night?
No one said that. I thought, I'm trying to think. I was in bed early, tucked up, 9:30, and I must have looked a bit scratchy. I was
If young-
after the game.
Is Steve McBurney a life member of the Fremantle Football Club now?
What? Who's Steve McBurney?
Well, he was the one that probably
Yeah,
should have
boy.
paid the free kick for holding the ball against Chapman down at the Cattery, because I reckon you'd still be in the fetal position in that bed had he kicked that
Yeah,
goal.
gee whiz, it was a game of inches, isn't it?
Well, in the end,
I mean, they had no extra 15 shots, so... look, in hindsight, we could have had egg on our face, but as it is, it turned out okay.
yeah, well, you don't, and you've got an opportunity. And I've been asked all weekend and again today, how many of your blokes that you left out last week won't be available this week? And I said, well, I'll ask the coach tonight and he can tell us straight up. So here's your chance.
Yeah, no, basically all of them. Potentially, maybe one, I'm not sure. Subin and Hill had some tightness in hamstrings, but and Wilder's a bit of a tweak in the knee, but they've had a really good weekend, so they've got a few hurdles to jump, but we're relatively confident, and nearly I think everyone else should play. So we identified guys that were critical, couldn't be replaced, like key position players, and had big loads, and so that's what we did, So look, it was a tough day at the office over there. Clancy Pearce went down in the first 5 seconds, so unfortunately he's nicked his Achilles tendon, and he'll play no further part in the year, and Garrick Ibbetson's struggling to come up. So they're two that been critical to us. So they're a big hole in our back six. But Luke McFarlane will be declared fit as long as he's got no hiccups this week, and then we just have to make a decision whether he plays or not.
We're not going to labour on the other thing down at Simmons, but
Yeah.
do you change your structure or your policies for selection with Etihad as opposed to the Cattery?
No, I've never picked a team based on the ground. I mean, probably the last one at Etihad, we went with a running defender on their third tall forward, like it was Watson Duffield. That was the only change where I've sort of done that. But no, we'll pick our best team and go down and give it a real shake, So Geelong are going to have to deal with our pressure. I think they're going to. How are they going to deal with our pressure? They're a high handball, 1-to-1 kick to ratio. So it's a little bit of, I think, the question that we'll ask them, and we'll ask them a really strong question: how are you going to deal with our pressure? So we're really quite confident what we're going to be able to produce.
Look, mentally, your boys have been, really good, and their appetite for hard work and doing the little things that are important to winning a game of footy. I think we saw a fair bit of that from Brisbane on the weekend, even though Chris Scott came out and admitted that he already knew the result to your game, and that was whilst you were playing St Kilda. But at the same time, there was still a lot of pressure applied by Brisbane, and you can probably get something out of that.
Look, I haven't had a good look at it yet. I mean, round 22 is a unique beast because players, the mental demons to not get hurt and then try and go hard. So it is a battle when you can't improve much. So, but yeah, I won't worry about too much how Brisbane played. We'll play our style. We've been building ourselves for finals for, my period, the last 18 months. So we know it stands up. It stood up last year. We've certainly improved. We've improved in a lot of areas, and we're going to go down there and ask a real question, a really big question of Geelong, and we're really confident. The question should be asked how they're going to handle our pressure, because we're certainly we've built it and conditioned it, and our young players found out about, if you just want to turn it on in the night and you haven't done the hard work for a long period, we had a lot of young players that been inconsistent in their preparation that played on the weekend, and they mentally wanted to give it everything, but because they hadn't practiced it consistently for a long period of time, they couldn't get it done against quality. So we know our core team has practiced it for a long time, and we're really confident that we're going to go down there. I haven't seen, a different size, shape, ground affect the result, really. So if anything, it really suits Subiaco, it's 115 metres wide, so it's about 10 metres narrow, but about the same length. So really, it's almost identical to Subi. So we're not uncomfortable with the dimensions.
Well, part of your ethos has been to the want to compete and certainly effort. And the last time you played down there, I mean, they were brutal inside, weren't they? And they were able to get hold of you. So that's where you need to match them, and certainly, obviously, cover their +1 back, which generally is Jimmy Bartell.
That's exactly right. They like a +1 behind the ball. Look, they're very similar. Kenny Hinkley set up Port Adelaide almost identically, to be frank. So just different personnel. So there's some things we did in the Port Adelaide game that we trialled and worked quite well. So we'll look to implement them. But look, it's a bigger challenge. There's no doubt about that. But we're no slouches, so I'm really confident in the 22 we'll take down there.
You're pleased with the support? I mean, you've had certainly many from all parts of the country in what's happened over the last few days come out and scream nice and loud for Fremantle, which is a nice show of support, I reckon.
Yeah, it is. I think the footy purists, for me personally, I had to move on quickly. I was probably taken aback and surprised. I mean, it's the first final in 100 years there. And early in the year, I think their media manager came out on July 17 and said there won't be any final there because it's a regional venue and the facilities aren't there. But the AFL seemed fit to change. So as leader of the football club and the players, after they shook it out, we're really looking forward to the contest. And the opportunity to win a premiership really beckons for us. We've earned a double chance and we need to go down, and we're going down to win. We're going down to put our best foot forward and create an opportunity for the Fremantle Football Club. So, the politics and decisions and backroom dealings of football, as a football coach, doesn't interest me, and it can certainly disillusion you if you get involved. So I just focus on coaching and looking after and leading our players. I
believe you've been able to organise a charter flight into Avalon, which is a little bit of a help.
It is, you look for leadership from your CEO and your chairman, and we had great difficulty with Virgin for a fair bit of time to get to our normal 3 o'clock flight for whatever reason. But I think with some hard work behind the scenes and some creative commercial opportunities with our supporters, Steve Rossich and his team have delivered a flight into Avalon. And then it's only a 25-minute bus trip from there. So, when you fly 64,000 kilometres a year and, travel interstate 12 times, every little bit adds up. So if you can cut a half an hour here or half an hour there, it all adds up.
Other than the flight, are you going to do anything else different? Have you got a few tricks up your sleeve as an old wily coach?
No, as Dennis Fagan said to me, all the trick coaches are out of a job. So... I don't consider myself a trick coach. There's certainly tactics for different opposition, but our strategies are firmly set on competing and pressuring and using the ball well. So, we'll start our mental preparation tomorrow. The players are in tomorrow. We'll acknowledge the challenge we've got in front of us, but we talk about mental toughness is powerful responses in the face of challenge. So it's a big challenge. We're looking for a powerful response from our playing group. So
there's much change in preparation. Do you have a stronger session tomorrow, or Wednesday your normal stronger session? When is it?
Our first session, it's open to the public. It's a pretty gentle session, bit of a loosener, and then our last session is a closed session for the first time this year. I think we're closing one, and we'll really put them through the hoops then, and then we tend to meet after training and then go straight to the airport and go. So, it's going to come around quick. Well, it's a really exciting time. You're anxious, you're nervous, but at the same time you're excited, and, the real season starts. It's really excited for the Fremantle Football Club and our players who have worked so hard for so long. So we're not going to give this up easily.
So squad of how many will you bring across, Ross? Will you bring some just to give them sort of the...
25. We'll take 25. We always tend to fly more emergencies just in case, because it's a long way from home if something goes wrong. But, we're going to ask a big question of the Geelong football team on the weekend. So the question is, how are they going to deal with what we put up? So that's not about the venue.
Good on you, Ross. Appreciate your time. We're looking forward to seeing you put your best foot forward on Saturday afternoon against Geelong.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate your support.
See you.
Ross Lyon there, the coach of
Hope
the
they smash them,
Fremantle
Barney.
Dockers.
Hope they absolutely smash them.